official number of people with AIDS in the U.S. will soon jump by 150,000.
How many friends have you lost to this disease?
20. Can you imagine what it must be like if you had lost 20 of your friends in the last 18 months?
And you don't know why?
No cause, no cure.
Keith, Dave, Wally, Steve, they're all gone, every one of them. I'm Ruth Coker Burks, I'm 60 years old, and I'm known as the Cemetery Angel. Back in 1984, I was at the hospital and I was visiting a friend, and that was when I met Jimmy, my very first AIDS patient. I walked in his room. I don't know what made me do it. I'm pretty sure God asked me to do it. He was so frail, and you knew that he was near death, and he wanted his mother. I went out and I said to the nurses he would like to see his mother, and they laughed. They said, "Honey, his mama's not coming. Nobody's coming." And so I went back in his room and I took his hand, and he looked up at me and he said, "Oh, Mama, I knew you'd come." And I stayed in there for 13 hours while he died. I started calling funeral homes and they wouldn't take him. And I finally found a funeral home and they said, "We'll take him, but we're not going to touch him and we'll only cremate him." And I buried him on top of my daddy's grave. After I buried him, I thought that was it. And they started coming, and they didn't stop for 10 years.
Thank you so much. So much, not just for Joe, but for everybody. 20 some odd years ago, my little brother Joe passed away. The culture was, you don't talk about it, it's very shameful. Ruth was the only resource.
With the LGBT crowd that I see, they are just desperate to hear these stories because there's not anyone to tell their history because they're all dead. And I'm kind of a living vessel that remembers the stories about what happened.
So good to see you.
Yeah, look at you.
How you doing?
Oh, wonderful to see you. I'm so glad y'all came.
Yes. She is an angel among angels for what she has done for our fallen brethren.
She just took it on herself and understood that these men needed family, they needed care, and when their lives ended, they needed a place to rest.
I've always felt like I would take my men and carry them across the river and hand them over to all the people who loved them, who were there waiting for them. And then I'd turn around, I'd be back on dry land.